Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're doing well today. Oh, hey BB. It's been a minute since I've gone live on my computer, so I'm like, I'm testing it out. I'm trying to make sure that all we're firing, all systems are a go. I'm gonna get started here shortly. We are going to be reviewing the testimony from yesterday in the case of the United States versus Sean P. Diddy Combs. And then I usually start out by listening to the prior day's testimony, but because like I missed yesterday due to family time, I was like, okay, maybe I won't start off with the testimony. And maybe what I'll do is I'll go through reading the testimony. Well, actually, we can listen to the testimony. What do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to listen to the testimony, or do you guys want to? Let me think. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do real quick. Because I could do either or. Hey, Bush Babies, I see you. Be sure to subscribe, like, as well as share. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the lazy route. I'm going a lazy route today. I'm gonna play the testimony, guys. I'm going the lazy route. But just to kind of get everybody kind of caught up, we left off on Thursday with, let's see, with Cassie on the stand, examination underway, and from what I understand, there was some type of issue and or argument related to Cassie having a hard stop or needing a hard stop at 4:30 on Friday. So those were the directives from, I'm guessing, well, it came from Judge Submaranian. He said that he was informed by the prosecution that that was a requirement, that she had to be off the stand by 4:30. Well, cross had to end by 4:30. And I figure if I play it, it's going to be easier for us to go ahead and get to, let's see. All right, hold on. All right, so it'll just be faster if I play it versus reading it. So I'm going to go ahead and play the audio of the full testimony that occurred yesterday in open court in the case of the United States versus Sean P. Diddy Combs. And then I would like to actually we're going to listen to the other two witnesses that took to the stand yesterday. And then I want to kind of go over Cassie's Well, I don't know. I don't want to go over her entire testimony today. I think I just want to tidy up and take care of going over Friday. And then I'll open up, I'll drop the link if anybody wants to come up and discuss what we know thus far, um, your perspectives on, the prosecution's case. It's only been a week, and this trial is slated to be an 8-week trial, possibly longer, depending on any unforeseen delays. But as of right now, it's scheduled to be 8 weeks. So I want to get you guys' opinion after going through week one. There's so many different sources and different places for you guys to get your updates from. So I just want to say real quick before we get into listening to this audio testimony, thank you. Thank you guys for coming here and, listening to my perspective on things. I try to be very, I'm not, I try not to like sensationalize or put 20 on 10 or anything like that, because this is an actual court case. It's a legal case, and the stakes are rather high for all parties involved. So I'm not going to put 20 on 10 or anything like that, but I will be kind of critiquing the government's approach as well as the defense's approach, because in my opinion, well, not just in my opinion, but the government has the highest burden to prove that everything that they have alleged and indicted this man for actually did happen. And let's listen to this, and then I'll give you guys my honest opinion on how the prosecution is doing as well as how the defense is doing so far. Why is this thing not playing? Hold on, y'all.
Under the fair use doctrine of the U.S. copyright statute, it is permissible to use limited portions of a work, including quotes, for purposes such as commentary, criticism, news reporting, and scholarly reports. There are no legal rules permitting the use of a specific number of words, a certain number of musical notes, or percentage of a work. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay, so now let's get into this. Welcome. Be sure to hit that like button on your way in. We're just going to listen to the testimony that was given in the case yesterday. And then I'm going to drop the link. So if anybody wants to come up, it'd be really neat for us to have like a panel discussion, just to kind of get you guys' perspectives, any early predictions, and openly discuss what we know so far.
Parties are presumed innocent until proven guilty. Listen at your own discretion. What you're about to hear is the full finale of cross-examination testimony given by Cassie Ventura today from beginning to end. You believe Mr. Combs was blacked out for the Intercontinental event?
I believe he was intoxicated. Everyone's definition is different.
But you said blacked out. What did you write here?
I wrote, when you get f***ed up the wrong way.
You meant drugs.
And alcohol.
Here Mr. Combs writes to you, I am so horny for you. At this moment, the prosecution objected and said this was not an evidence. Then they continued. Here Mr. Combs is asking you for sex soon after the Intercontinental, right?
I was saying how he felt.
What did you write back?
I wrote, we need a different vibe than Friday at the Intercontinental.
Mr. Combs wrote, fuck Friday, I don't even want to do that again. What did you write?
I wrote, LOL, true.
Mr. Combs suspected you of having an affair with someone else in the industry. What happened when he took your phone?
We were in a car, and he told me to call my mother. When I did, he grabbed my phone and took it.
It was a big fight.
He was just gone.
For how long?
A few hours until my mother called the police.
Did Mr. Combs go through your phone?
I think so. And he called someone on it.
The person you had an affair with?
I don't know if he's playing anymore.
But he was an NFL player, and he was jealous. Wasn't there a time he found out you were dancing with another person in the entertainment industry and took your phone, right?
I don't remember.
It was Chris Brown.
I was not dancing with him.
Look at this. It's from 2013.
Now I see.
What else did Mr. Combs take?
My car, my passport, when he was angry.
Let's refresh you about...
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there because that's interesting. Well, let's table that. I'm gonna table that for the discussion later. But okay, he took her car and he took her passport, and she's not his child, and let's continue.
Mr. Combs being in rehab.
I vaguely remember.
Why did you go to Sedona?
I went to Arizona to get away from the drugs.
I'm going to go to a new topic. Mr. Combs told you to go get the video you'd heard about. What did you write?
I wrote, "You keep putting me down."
I'm going to play you some audio.
At this moment, the defense played an audio. This voiceover is what was said in the audio.
If you saw a video of someone f***ing me, who was f***ing me? You have it. Why didn't you show me? 'Cause I'm not disrespectful, bro. If you don't show me, I will kill you. Cut you up. I will f***ing kill you. I've never killed anyone in my life. I am going to f*** you up. It's not going to be blood on my hands. Someone else is going to do it. I'm not playing with you, Sujit. Tell me.
That was you, right?
Yes?
Did Mr. Combs express concern about these videos being released?
When?
Ever.
Yes?
The escort, Jonathan. You thought he took a video?
Yes?
Mr. Combs spent a lot of money to make sure the video did not get released?
I don't know.
You had a conversation with Jonathan Audie that was transcribed?
I'm not sure.
He was volatile?
I didn't trust him.
What did Mr. Combs say when you told him you thought Mr. Audie was recording?
He said he'd take care of it.
Are you aware of an escort leaving comments on Mr. Combs' Instagram page?
I am not.
Now let's talk about rehab. Do you still take Suboxone?
Something like it.
What does it treat?
Opioid addiction.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled by the judge.
You wrote a book in rehab. The place treats sexual compulsion.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge asked for a sidebar.
Did you get neurofeedback therapy?
Yes.
What is it?
They hook something up to your head and show you things.
Okay, guys, we have a commercial. Hang on, let me run it back a little bit. Bring it back, and continue.
What does it treat?
Opioid addiction.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled by the judge.
You wrote a book in rehab. The place treats sexual compulsion.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge asked for a sidebar.
Did you get neurofeedback therapy?
Yes.
What is it?
They hook something up to your head and show you things. See how you react.
Were you told the effects of it?
Help me with my trauma.
Did you participate in EMDR?
Yes.
What does it do?
Memories and processing them.
The idea is you recall prior traumatic memories, like for PTSD. You were being treated for PTSD.
Yes. I was still physically developing.
You were 22.
Women keep developing after 22, don't you think?
But you're not suggesting you were still physically developing after 22.
I am not.
This message is about having a freak off without ketamine, right?
At this moment, the prosecution said,
May I confer with counsel?
the judge said, no, but we will take a break. Then they came back and continued.
Mr. Combs wrote, "You're so predictable. You've said you were going to tell him you didn't want to do freakouts anymore, but you didn't say it, did you?
I did not.
Here, you were suggesting freaking off with a girl. You say you found a photo of Mr. Combs with Gina while you were staying with your parents in Connecticut, right?
Yes.
You decided to break up with him, and he didn't threaten you but suggested couples counseling?
I don't know.
In August 2018, you called it a closure conversation. Mr. Combs was inviting you to Burning Man, right?
Yes.
I'll read Mr. Combs. You have anger.
I wrote, my family knows I am not running around telling our business. I wrote, I don't need you to be taking care of Kim and Gina. I needed you to put me first.
Please read these.
I wrote, "You lied to me. She never went away. It was the nail in the coffin."
You meant Gina, the photo?
Yes,
In your civil lawsuit, you say Mr. Combs raped you in September 2018 after you had dinner at an Italian restaurant in Malibu, right?
yes,
Did you meet with the U.S. on November 30th, 2023?
yes, not the exact date.
In this meeting, you said the rape took place after Mr. Combs returned from Burning Man. You said he was acting strangely at that dinner.
I don't remember exactly that word.
Did you meet the U.S. on April 8th, 2025?
Around then,
This message to FB. Who's that?
Frank Black, a name he used.
He wrote, I'm in an investors conference. We'll get back to this. You still have love for him?
I have love for the past and what it was.
After this, they took a sidebar, but then continued.
You wrote, I didn't mean to be a bitch. I just don't get the time. He writes, just need you to be positive, correct?
Yes,
DX1309. This is about a yoga instructor?
yep.
What did you write?
I wrote, "I've stopped even caring."
But you did care.
Yeah,
So he said, you could date other people. Let's just talk about it, correct?
yes.
What did you write?
I wrote, "I do love you. I would just prefer not being one of your girlfriends. Let's get up tomorrow night. I'll do studio from 6 to 9.
He writes, can I hold you? Or are you just going to break up with me? And you write back, we can embrace LOL. And you wanted to hug him, right?
That's what I said.
Did you have sexual intercourse with Mr. Combs that night?
I did.
And during that, your now husband FaceTimed you.
Yes.
Your now husband didn't know you were with Mr. Combs at the time?
I don't know what he knew.
Later, he discovered it?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled.
You didn't tell your husband you were.
Not that evening.
After Ms. Porter's memorial service, you wrote to him that you were going home. Why had he called Kim his soulmate? What was the 11 years all about?
Yes.
That was hurtful.
At that time, yes.
And after that memorial service, you never saw Mr. Combs again, right?
I did not.
He let you go, right?
I never saw him again. I don't know about letting me go.
You got married to the love of your life, right?
At this moment, the judge interrupted and said to take a break.
Ms. Ventura, we're almost done here.
Thank you.
I will read Mr. Combs' messages. You're going to make a beautiful mother. God bless.
I said, "Thank you, God bless." I wrote, "We should talk and have closure."
Mr. Combs sent back a tear face emoji. He said, you were always my ride or die.
I thought it was nice.
You'd been craving that.
Before. I don't think I was craving now.
You shaped you over 11 years. You shaped each other.
Yes.
Your husband's a physical trainer.
Yes.
The house you grew up in Connecticut was relatively modest compared to mansions.
Yes.
You were preparing to tour with a Matt Testa.
Yes. He's an engineer.
Once you settled your lawsuit, you canceled the tour, right?
Yes.
Because you no longer needed the money?
That wasn't the reason.
After the hotel video came out, you posted on Instagram that domestic violence is the issue, right?
Yes. I still feel that way.
DX1015. Mr. Combs wrote, want to freak off one last time. What did you write?
I don't want it to be the last time. I want freak off for the first time.
No further questions.
At this moment, the judge asked the prosecution if they wanted to redirect, and it begun.
Ms. Ventura, you were shown this message where you ended. I don't want to freak off for the last time. I want it to be the first time for the rest of our lives. What did you say after that?
Yes, I'm horny. Just got over a UTI.
You were shown messages today in which you and Sean were kind and loving.
Yes.
Did those periods ever last?
At this moment, the defense objected, but was overruled.
No, they didn't last. There'd be a downswing.
What world did Sean open?
Chaos.
In your 11-year relationship, who did you want to have sex with?
Only him at that time.
When Sean wrote, seduce me all day, what did you do?
Write about FOs.
Were you able to cancel work obligations for freak-offs?
Yes, if I was told to.
When you were shooting the movie in South Africa and you blocked him, how did he contact you?
Through Mia.
He said he didn't remember hurting you. Did you believe him?
Not always, because I knew him. There were times he was pretty aware of what he was doing. It's just who he was. I'd seen him be violent with other people.
On the way back from Cannes, what did Sean do?
He played a video of me having an escort.
What did he say he'd do?
He'd release it.
When you got to NY, what did Sean ask for?
A freak off or he'd release it.
When Sean wrote, you ready for tonight? What did he mean?
Freak off.
What were you afraid he would do if you did not do that freak off?
At this moment, the defense objected, but the judge overruled it. Then after Cassie said,
I don't know that week.
the judge interrupted and said, next question.
Do you have any doubt that Sean raped you?
At this moment, the defense objected, but was overruled.
I have no doubt.
After Sean raped you on August 18th, did you later have consensual sex with Sean during which your now husband FaceTimed you?
Yes.
Why did you cancel the tour?
After I filed my civil suit, I was overwhelmed. Addressing the past the way that I chose to was overwhelming. I didn't want to go.
Do you plan to file more lawsuits?
No.
Would you give the $20 million back if you hadn't have had to do freak-offs?
At this moment, the defense objected, but was overruled.
I would give it back to get my agency back.
Did he beat you during freak-offs?
Yes.
Were you open to freak-offs at the beginning?
At the beginning.
Did you tell him when you no longer wanted to do them?
Yes. More than once.
What concerns did you have about saying no to freak-offs?
Safety, career, love.
No further questions.
At this moment, the judge asked if there was a recross, and they continued,
You knew Mr. Combs' preference was these freak-offs, right?
I learned.
It was part of being his girlfriend?
Yeah.
You kept your old device?
Yes.
And freak-off videos in this case. They were all on those devices you kept from 2012 and 2014.
I don't know what year.
You were able to stand at his side at the Met Gala. Being his girlfriend gave you access to producers.
Yes.
Beyond Kid Cudi, what other musicians were you put in the studio with? Were you put in the studio with Nicki Minaj?
Yes.
You were put in the studio with Lil Wayne.
Yes.
And with Rick Ross and Pusha T. Am I forgetting any names?
You've got a lot of names.
You are self-conscious about your musical talent.
I wouldn't say that.
You had a bad performance on 106 and Park.
Early in my career.
You did music videos. Were they successful?
At this moment, the judge asked for a brief sidebar. Then they continued.
D-Rock was like a member of your family?
Yes. Like a brother.
The assistant Mia, you also had a friendship with?
Yes.
Okay, here you begin with an explicit message, and he responds with one, you are actively sexting.
Yes.
You stated that you were feeling overwhelmed after filing your civil lawsuit, right?
Yes.
You recently received a settlement from the Intercontinental?
No.
You made a demand?
Yes. $10 million, maybe.
At this moment, the judge asked anything further, and the prosecution said,
I just have one question.
but the judge said, I was asking Ms. Esteval, can you wrap up in 2 minutes? And they continued.
This is the last thing I'll ask you to read, Ms. Ventura.
Thank you. We need closure and understanding.
Why'd you keep your devices?
I was afraid of what was on them. I wouldn't take them to the Apple store.
One question. You just reached a $10 million settlement with Intercontinental last week before trial?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled, and Cassie answered.
Yes.
At this moment, the judge took a break and revealed the next witness would be, in his words, special agent. And we do know that the next witness, after Cassie, would be special agent, and Don Richard. Diddy's defense, however, objected to the testimony of special agent, and Don Richard and the judge said, why is this coming up at 3:30 p.m.? Going forward, you just address things before the courtroom. This was the end of Cassie's testimony. What did you think about it? Who do you think did better in questioning Cassie?
Wow. That was interesting. Very interesting that I don't, this is the thing. I'm going to play the audio for the special agent in Don Richards' testimony in court on yesterday. But I don't know. I feel like the defense is, maybe it's because she's pregnant that Diddy's attorneys have chosen to not really, how do you say, like, go really hard on her. I think they've been carrying her with kind of kid gloves with Cassie, specifically with her testimony. I don't feel that they really dug in and asked some seriously difficult, hard-hitting questions. I feel like they took it really easy on her. And I know there's probably a method to their madness as far as how they chose to approach their cross-examination. And I'm hopeful that, in the upcoming weeks, their methods of the way that they question her will be revealed, I guess, or better understood. I just feel like they could have done more because, in my opinion, the prosecution did a lot during their cross-examination to, bring out a lot of the key factors of the indictment. I think they did quite a bit to highlight a lot of what they have charged him with. For instance, they brought out the messages between scene in which Diddy explained that he was going to have Kid Cudi's car explode. He was going to get it blown up. And they didn't really touch on it. I don't know if they were fearful of speaking to it or bringing it back into the forefront of the jury's minds. Maybe that's why they didn't double back on it. But I think that was a mistake because, or maybe they didn't want to bring it back up because it's something they can't really defend. I don't know, guys. But let's go ahead and get through the rest of the testimony that occurred yesterday. And then I already dropped the link. So if anybody wants to come up, feel free to hit the link.
Good afternoon. Where do you work?
HSI in the Human Trafficking Group. I'm in the Crisis Negotiation Group too.
Did you serve subpoenas in this case?
Yes.
When Sean Combs was arrested, where did you go?
The Park Hyatt, room 2115, where he was staying.
At this moment, the photo of the entrance was shown to the jury.
What did you do?
We assigned a letter to each room and began to search.
What was your role?
I took photographs of items, then signed them on the 6051 form.
Was this found in the closet?
At this moment, photos were shown of plastic bags full of Johnson & Johnson baby oil and Astroglide bottles.
Yes.
What was found in the bathroom?
Several bottles of baby oil.
Now the bedroom. What was found in the Louis Vuitton bag?
Medication in the name of Frank Black.
And that is this?
Bags of pink powder found in the medicine bottle.
At this moment, there was a stipulation shown agreeing it was found and tested by Customs and Border Patrol lab.
Reading stipulation. The pink powder was found to be ketamine and MDMA in bottle.
At this moment, physical evidence is passed around to jury. Then a photo was shown.
What was found in the black mini pack bag?
$9,000.
Please take the cash out of the bag.
At this moment, Special Agent Binda does and starts fanning out the bills.
No further questions.
After this, the judge asked, any cross? And the defense asked only one question.
In the hotel room, did you see any bags and clothing indicating that a woman was staying with him there?
Yes.
After this, the judge said, the U.S. may call its next witness, and they did.
Your Honor, the government calls Don Richard. Where are you from?
New Orleans, Louisiana.
From 2004 to 2011. Who did you work for?
Puff, Sean Combs.
Do you see him?
Yes.
Who is depicted in this photo?
Cassie.
In 2009, did you observe an incident between Puff and Cassie?
She was attacked by Sean Combs, kicked.
Did you see more violence by him against Cassie?
Often.
When were you a member of this group?
2009 to 2011.
The incident in 2009 when Sean Combs beat Cassie, where was it?
In Sean Combs' LA home, we were recording.
What did he do?
He was saying, where the fuck is my food? He grabbed a black skillet with eggs and tried to hit her over the head. Cassie dropped to the ground.
What did she do?
She went into fetal position.
Then what?
Sean Combs was kicking her in the head and body, then dragged her up to the first floor, glass breaking and yelling. I was scared for her, and for me too.
Did you intervene?
No,
Did you call police?
no.
The next day, what happened?
That it had been passionate and she was okay. That it would be better if we didn't talk. That people could end up missing.
How did you understand that?
Death?
At this moment, the defense objected, and the judge said, sidebar. Once they came back from the sidebar, they excused the jurors and Don Richard. This is the end of the trial for the day. What do you think about Don?
So, Don Richards came in with testimony that basically corroborates Cassie's insertion that there was multiple instances of abuse. And I'm sure that the jury was probably like, whoa, okay. Because, hey, Libby Lou, because now here's another individual who's kind of basically vouching for what Cassie has gone through throughout her testimony, explaining. Now, the first week of his trial in federal court concluded yesterday. It was intense testimony with graphic evidence and a defense strategy that kind of sparked significant public discourse, because the strategy that the defense is taking up is basically this was a toxic relationship. They were both abusive to one another. They both did drugs together. They were both involved as well as complicit in the FOs. So they kind of the defense's strategy is overall to like paint a picture that Cassie was more of a willing participant than a SMEX trafficked woman. Okay? Now, Cassie, who is Diddy's former partner, she testified over 4 days. And she detailed a relationship that was marked by emotional, physical, and sexual abuse from 2007 to 2018. She described being coerced into drugged fuel SMEX sessions, known as FOs, often involving paid experienced workers and recorded without her consent on multiple occasions. She recounted the incident, of course, that was shared on CNN with the video from the Los Angeles hotel that was captured on surveillance video, and that was presented in court. The defense basically challenged her credibility, suggesting that she was, willing and very interested in having these sessions with Diddy because of the love that she had for him. And they feel that her testimony now in court is pretty much motivated by financial gain. And they also made a point to reference the $20 million settlement that Cassie received from Diddy a day after filing her lawsuit. Of course, she refuted those claims and stated that fear and manipulation influenced her actions. The defense argued that while Combs's relationships involved violence, they were all consensual and did not amount to coercion. The judge expressed skepticism about this argument, emphasizing that coercion can occur regardless of a person's strength. Combs's family, including his children and his mother, attended the trial, showing visible support, and there were also some emotional reactions that were noted, especially during explicit testimonies, particularly from his young daughters, which is understandable. I don't know that his daughters really wanted to ever see their dad in that type of light, or ever would want to be privy to his sexual preferences and, what he liked to do in the bedroom. But I think his defense team, Diddy himself, they have access to the discovery. They should have been well aware of what type of testimony and evidence was going to be presented in court. So they could have actually, they could have actually advised his daughters, I would say all of his children, to not attend. Let's see. And as we all know, this trial has garnered significant media attention, reigniting discussions about abuse, power dynamics, and survivor support. Combs's reputation has suffered, with previous honors revoked and business relationships severed. In this type of situation, that's par for the cause. He is taking this to the door. So all of the government's evidence, all of the witnesses that they'll be calling to the stand to provide testimony, to corroborate, and shed light on why the charges are filed in the way that they are, there's going to be some fallout. But I'm sure that he probably still has some industry support and some business associates that are standing by his side at this point. It's week 1, and we've only heard so far from the hotel security guy, one of the SMEX workers, Cassie Ventura, Don Richards, and a special agent so far. And if I'm not mistaken, Dawn should be retaking the stand on Monday. For those of you who do not know who Dawn is, she actually was a part of Danity Kane. She was one of the artists that Diddy discovered during making the band. And she worked with Diddy during making the band, as well as during after Danity Kane kind of fell apart as a project. She continued to work with Diddy under Diddy Dirty Money. So it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to hear the rest of her testimony. Let's see. I'm trying to see if anybody has hit the link. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Crystal. Welcome. Hey, Bush Babies. Please be sure to hit that like button. I'm just taking care of Friday because I took Friday off to spend time with my family. So I didn't do my live stream on Friday. So I figured I'd just come live today and kind of double back about Friday with you guys today. Now, I have a quick question for everybody that's here. Do you guys want to listen to Cassie's full testimony? Like her full testimony? Put some ones in the chat if you guys would like to listen to her full testimony. And if I get at least like 2 or 3 ones, we'll go ahead and listen to it. Because I do have it. Does anybody have an interest in listening to her full testimony? Crystal, BB, Bush Babies, Libby Lou. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's listen to that. All right, cool. Because I think first of all, her testimony is the most, in my opinion, impactful. She's the only witness on the government's list she's the one witness that was on the government's list for 4 days. 4 days. Because she took the stand on, was it Monday? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No, it must have been Tuesday. She took the stand on Tuesday and ended on Friday. So I want to listen to the entire testimony as well, because I'm going to pause and kind of point out specific areas, because a lot of people are like, oh, they're just talking about their relationship. Oh my gosh. All right. He may have been abusive. He may have been a cheater. He may have been this and that. But how are they charging him with all of these federal crimes? Like, what makes him, what makes it sound like a domestic violence, toxic relationship to me. But what people aren't paying attention to is the fact that within her testimony, there are pieces of her testimony that come through that cement the charges filed on his indictment. Believe it or not, they're pieces of what Cassie said that solidify the government's indictment. So before we listen to it, let me just play this. Why is it not playing?
Copyright statute, it is permissible to use limited. Under the fair use doctrine of the US copyright statute, it is permissible to use limited portions of a work, including quotes, for purposes such as commentary, criticism, news reporting, and scholarly reports. There are no legal rules permitting the use of a specific number of words, a certain number of musical notes, or percentage of a work. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay, so, and I'll be pausing throughout so that I can point out where I believe that Cassie's testimony assists the government in building their case against Diddy and where it aligns with the indictment. So let's get into it.
38.
What is your work?
At your own discretion. What you're about to hear is the complete testimony given by Cassie Ventura in the Diddy trial from beginning to end.
The government calls Cassandra Ventura. How old are you?
38.
What is your work?
Musician and entertainer.
How long were you with Sean?
10 years.
Did you get in arguments?
Yes, it would result in dragging
What else did he do?
me in the head if I was down.
How frequently was he?
Too frequently, I would get black eyes and
Let me show you a video. Where is this?
the Intercontinental in Los Angeles. It was after a freak off.
What does that entail?
The hiring of an escort, setting it up.
How did you feel when he first asked for it?
Confused, nervous. I wanted to make him happy.
Did you agree to one when he first proposed it?
Yes. Then there were more. It wasn't something I wanted to do, at least not that frequently. I didn't know what no could turn into,
What do you mean?
making him angry.
What were you afraid would happen if you said no?
That he had materials,
What did you give the government?
laptops.
I've handed up GXB. Do you recognize it?
Yes, I've reviewed this drive. It has communication and documents pertaining to Mr. Combs.
Did you review photos on it?
Yes,
What's this photo?
me in 2004 with Carrie Morgan.
When did you sign with Bad Boy Records?
2006, it was a 10-album deal.
Did you release any after late 2006?
No,
Who's in this photo?
Kim Porter. She was Sean's ex from before me and the mother of his children.
Where did you celebrate your birthday in this photo?
In Las Vegas. Carrie Morgan was there too. We're out on his patio on my 21st birthday. VMAs.
What happened then?
Sean kissed me in the bathroom. I ran back to my hotel. I told Carrie
When you got back to New York?
I'd visit him at the Trump Hotel in Columbus Circle. His apartment was being renovated.
What were you doing with your music career?
Trying to come up with a concept. Sean called all of the shots.
What is the age difference between you and Sean?
17 years.
How did you feel when Sean invited you to hotels?
Nervous. Excited, like we were going to talk about music. He introduced me to... I didn't understand it.
Did you visit Sean in Miami?
Yes, I went with Carrie Morgan in Dallas, Austin.
What did you and Sean do together?
He gave me Blue Dolphin on a boat.
Had you once before taken unintentionally?
Yes,
How did you take it unintentionally?
it was in Gatorade.
When you took it intentionally with Sean, how did it feel?
Like rolling.
At the time, what did you think?
That we were spending a lot of time together. I thought we were monogamous.
Was it made public?
No, I was his artist. Also, his family, his children.
Who was linked to him publicly?
Kim Porter.
How did Sean treat you at this time?
We had fun.
What was his lifestyle like?
He had all these assistants. He could get things done. He traveled quite a bit.
What's this photo?
Sean and I at a strip club in New York, like 2007 or 2008. Halloween,
How did Sean's moods vary?
day to day.
When it swung, could you describe it?
Anger, zoning out,
How did it impact you?
greatly. The next thing I knew, I was getting hit in the face. There was also psychological. He'd tell me to watch my mouth, change my face.
How would he keep tabs on you?
We didn't live far apart. He'd send security to come find me, or a trusted assistant.
Okay, I'm going to stop there because in the RICO conspiracy, the racketeering, that charge, that particular charge, the racketeering, a lot of people are like looking for there to be like drug dealing, arms dealing, and things of that nature to be happening within this case. And basically, RICO only requires the government to prove that, in this case, P. Diddy utilized his empire to do his bidding. Him sending his associates, trusted associates, or his bodyguards to retrieve her when she did not want to, speak to him or spend time with him or be around him, solidifies somewhat the RICO, the racketeering thing. because it shows the act. It shows the act of him calling upon his employees to handle getting her, bringing her to him, which in the real world, if your boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't want to speak to you, sending someone to retrieve them and pick them up and bring them to you would be kind of considered really strange. You know what I mean? But in his world, it was just par for the course. He got what he wanted by means of utilizing his empire to achieve whatever he wanted.
Like who?
David James, Christina Coram.
Was your relationship exclusive?
No.
Did you see other men?
Yes.
Did Sean see other women?
Yes. He said, I am Puff Daddy. I was insanely jealous.
Did you move to LA with him?
Yes. He wanted to be close to his kids who were there.
Where did you live in LA?
875 Comstock Avenue.
How tall was the building?
No more than 17 floors.
Where did Sean live?
200 South Mapleton. Sean would use a golf cart to get back and forth.
Who paid your rent in LA?
Sean, except when I had the house in Studio City.
Why'd you pay then?
I could afford it then, and I wanted to have some control. It was accepted.
By whom?
Sean.
How many songs did you write while with Sean?
Hundreds. Most were never released. Some got leaked on the internet, some on mixtapes.
How many albums on your deal were not released?
9.
Did you get paid for them?
No. The freak-offs became a job. There was no time to do anything else but do them, then try to recover.
How much time in your week would freak-offs take?
The longest was 4 days, significant periods of time.
At this moment, there was a break. Then they continued.
Who was your manager at Bad Boy Records?
James Cruz.
What did he tell you?
That he was managing me with one hand tied behind his back. He had to check everything with Sean.
How did you make money if your records weren't being released?
I did hosting parties when Sean approved them.
What comments did Sean make about your physical appearance?
That I looked too Mexican with my hair like that.
How did he like your nails?
White, French tipped.
Hair?
It varied. I shaved my head in 2009.
Your body?
He told me to work out, prepare for the freak-offs.
How did you feel about his comments?
It varied.
What else did Sean pay for?
Cars.
Did he give you cash?
Yes, but he would take things away depending on how he felt.
What else would he take away?
My self-confidence.
Who would take things away?
Staff. I assume staff.
At this point, there was an objection by the defense. Then the judge said to disregard the last answer.
Who took your laptop and phone?
Security.
How long would they be gone for?
However long I was being punished for.
How often were you in contact with Sean's staff?
Daily.
Who are in these photos?
Christina Coram and Ms. Fletcher.
What did you call Miss Coram?
KK.
And who's this?
D-Rock. He was Sean's security.
How frequently were you in Sean's residences?
All the time.
Okay, so I'm going to pause there so that I could read like an overview of what an enterprise, the existence of an enterprise. The government must prove there was an enterprise, which is defined broadly and can include legal entities, okay, like corporations or partnerships, associations, in fact, a group of individuals associated for a common purpose. The enterprise must have a structure, ongoing organization, a common purpose, functioning as a continuing unit. Now, additionally, the pattern of racketeering activity. These are key elements that the government needs to prove. There must be at least 2 predicate acts of racketeering within a 10-year period. These can include drug trafficking, unaliving, extortion, bribery, money laundering, fraud, mail, wire, or securities, obstruction of justice. Okay, I'm going to say that again, obstruction of justice. A pattern requires that the acts are related, same participants, victims, methods, or motives, continuous, either ongoing, over, or through, or a threat of future criminal conduct. Now, the next is connection between the enterprise and racketeering. The defendant must have conducted or participated in the enterprise affairs through a pattern of racketeering. The government must show that the racketeering acts were in service or benefiting the enterprise. Criminal intent, mens rea. The defendant must have had intent to further the criminal goals of the enterprise. Mere association with the enterprise is not good enough. There must be active involvement. Evidence the government typically uses: wiretaps and surveillance, financial records, witness testimony, often including cooperating witnesses or informants, electronic communications such as emails and text, undercover operations, documents linking the defendant to the enterprise's operations. RICO cases are complex and often involve extensive investigations by federal agencies like the FBI, DEA, or ATF. Conviction under RICO can lead to severe penalties, including long prison sentences and asset forfeitures. Okay? And I highlighted I highlighted the obstruction of justice portion. And when Cassie gets to the part of her testimony where I personally am like, oh, that's obstruction of justice, I'm going to pause and point it out. So let's continue.
They all have safes?
Yes.
What did you observe in them?
Cash, jewelry, cameras, and videotapes in New York, LA, Miami, and Alpine, New Jersey.
Do you recall an incident between Sean and Suge Knight?
Yes. We were having a freak off in LA. D-Rock came in and said Suge was down at a diner. Sean drove over there.
What was your reaction?
I cried, said don't do something stupid.
They're talking about Suge Knight. When they say Suge, it's just the computer. This is computer generated voice. So it's pronouncing Suge as Shuge. Okay? But they're talking about an incident involving Suge Knight when he was at a diner late night, and Diddy and his entourage went there with pum-pums to confront Suge Knight.
Yes, we were going to a club in downtown LA. We'd taken mushrooms. I was high. I was told to put the gun in my bag. I was freaking out.
Who was present?
A driver, security, and Sean. Another time I saw them get dressed and grab guns and leave in an SUV.
How long were they gone?
30 or 40 minutes.
Let me switch topics. How soon into the relationship did Sean mention to you?
First 6 months or a year.
How old were you?
22.
Why did you agree to try a freak off?
Good question. I wanted to make him happy.
Where was the first freak off?
One of his homes in Los Angeles.
Who is this?
The first escort.
Do you know his name?
No.
I'll call him the first escort. Were you aware he was paid?
Yes. To dance and to have intercourse with me.
What drugs did you take?
Ecstasy and alcohol before things started.
Did you disguise your appearance?
Sean said we would disguise ourselves. I wore a masquerade mask.
What was a session in a freak off?
Until the escort finished.
How many sessions with the first escort?
At least 2.
How did you feel?
I was high, so I didn't feel much. Dirty and confusion, and that he was happy with me.
Why did you feel you couldn't say no?
I didn't want to make him angry or upset after he'd shared this part of himself with me.
How frequent did the freak-offs become?
Weekly for a consistent amount of years.
When was your last one?
2017, 2018.
How long were you awake during the freak-offs?
I never slept. I took drugs, ecstasy and Molly.
Do you recall all of the freak-offs?
That would be impossible.
Did you want to stop?
Yes, I was humiliated. I didn't have those words then. I couldn't talk to anyone about it.
Did you tell him you didn't want to?
Yes, I brought it up gently. I didn't want him to just do it with someone else.
Were you able to express your concerns to him?
At this moment, the defense objected to the question, and the judge told the prosecutor to rephrase his question.
Why would you talk to him gently?
I didn't want him to be angry.
What is this?
Email between me and Sean.
What did you call him?
Pop, Pop.
Why?
He asked me what I called my grandfather. I did it, but now I think it was disrespectful.
What did you write?
I really need to,
Why did you write that?
because I wanted to be with him.
I'll read Sean's messages. You read yours. You don't want to do anymore?
I'm so predictable.
What did you think this meant?
That he knew I didn't want to do the freak-offs anymore, but then I backpedaled.
Why?
To not make him angry. He could be violent.
Where'd you get your outfit?
Pleasure chest elsewhere.
Did you get piercings?
Yes, Sean came with me.
Which of his homes did you have freak-offs in?
Miami, New York,
What other homes?
my homes, all but Studio City.
In what other cities?
Atlanta, Ibiza,
In what hotels in New York did you have freak-offs?
Trump, Gramercy,
Intercontinental?
44th Street, yes.
Elsewhere?
Mandarin Oriental, Fontainebleau.
What names were used?
Jackie Starr I used. Frank Black.
What supplies were used for freak-offs?
Astroglide, baby oil, condoms.
Who brought the supplies?
Security, Sean's assistants.
Which brand of baby oil?
Johnson's.
How was it used?
Sean said, you need to be glistening.
Were there freak-offs where you ran out of baby oil?
After this question, the defense objected the question on the ground of it being irrelevant. Then the prosecutor asked this question,
You also mentioned Astroglide.
but was also objected over the same reason. Then the judge asked for a sidebar. After the sidebar, they continued.
We were just talking about Astroglide. How was it used?
Lubricant.
If you ran out, what would you do?
We'd call either staff or the bell desk, give them a tip.
Were the freak-offs lit?
Initially, it was a candle, strong smelling, Glade.
Any other use of candle wax?
A few times poured on my body.
Who set the temperature of the room?
Sean, I was expected to do freak-offs on my period.
Did you want to do that?
No.
Did you want to be urinated on?
After this question, the defense objected, giving the reason of asked and answered, but the judge overruled it.
No, I did not want it.
How did it feel?
It was disgusting. It was too much. I choked. No one could think I wanted it.
Why were you choking?
Too much in my mouth.
Who else urinated on you?
Sean.
Did you want Sean to urinate on you?
I didn't want anyone to urinate on me.
How often did it happen?
Often enough.
Which hotel charged the most for damage to the room?
The Intercontinental in New York. They redecorated the whole room for ridiculous money.
Back to the urination. Why didn't you say no?
It was obvious I didn't want to be on the ground being urinated on by 2 men.
Where did you find escorts?
Initially, Craigslist.
At this moment, they took a break, but then continued.
Ms. Ventura, in what cities did you respond to ads on Craigslist?
In New York.
Did you respond to ads on Backpage as well?
Yes.
Who directed you to communicate with escorts?
At this moment, the defense objected to the question. Then the prosecution asked another question
Who, if anyone?
before being interrupted by another objection due to assuming a fact, not an evidence.
Did you ever reach out to an escort independently?
No.
Did you ever not use an escort who arrived?
One couldn't perform, so Sean sent him on.
What was a safe escort?
Not a cop, and someone who'd not run and tell everyone about their experience with us.
Why not a cop?
I learned this whole situation was not legal.
Before Cassie could finish her answer, the defense objected, and the judge said the jury will disregard that answer.
How did Cash get there?
Security, or he brought it himself.
The escort Dave. Do you know his real name?
Clayton Howard.
Who is this? Photo shown to witness.
Daniel.
What service did you use?
A dancer service.
Do you recognize Jules?
Yes.
In what cities did you have freak-offs with Jules?
New York, Los Angeles, Vegas.
Do you know his last name?
No.
Who's this?
I knew him as the Punisher.
Did you use Set every freak off?
Yes, I need to disassociate and become emotionless.
Who else used drugs at freak-offs?
Sean did. Sometimes the escort.
What other did you use?
Special K, GHB, mushrooms.
I'll read Sean's parts of this email. You read yours.
When should I take the thing? When will you be there?
Pausing you there? What did you mean?
Drugs.
I took mine. I'm flying. What does he mean?
He's high.
Why did you take more drugs?
To not be present with the experience.
Why?
Because it was something I hated.
How did you react to ecstasy and MDMA?
It could make me vomit.
What would he say?
To continue.
Did you want to continue to have ips when you wanted to vomit?
No.
How does GHB make you feel?
Drunk. Tipsy.
Cocaine?
Makes my heart race. I'm not a huge fan.
Mushrooms?
The walls come alive.
After that answer, they took a break, but then returned and continued.
When drugs ran out, how did you know who to reach out to?
Sean would tell me.
During the session, how would you know to move to the next step?
Sean.
What would happen after the escort f***ed on you?
Sean would want a body in the next room.
Did you do that?
I did.
Where?
Usually.
Did you want to do that?
No.
How did you feel?
I was an object, being heavily objectified by men. Sometimes he would watch by FaceTime
Were some sessions recorded on your devices?
because they were there.
If you saw them on your device, what would you do?
I would delete them.
Why?
They were disgusting. I never wanted anyone to see them.
Were Sean's devices used sometimes?
Yes, I asked him to delete them.
Did he?
I don't know.
Did you ever leave a freak off before it was over?
Yes, at the Century City Intercontinental, I finally had a premiere coming up and I didn't want to mess it up, but Sean hit me.
At what point did Sean hit you?
Between sessions,
What happened next?
I got to the elevator. Next thing I knew, I was to the ground.
Who threw you down?
Sean, he grabbed me by my neck and my hoodie.
Let me show you the video.
At this point, the prosecution showed Cassie the hallway video.
What are you doing?
Trying to use the hotel phone,
What is Sean doing?
taking my phone and my bag.
Ms. Ventura, I just handed you 2 drives. What is on them? GX8?
Messages and photos from my devices.
Yesterday you testified about Sean going armed to look for Suge Knight,
Sean took guns with him.
and he told you to ask the escorts if they were cops?
I would begin by saying I was not a cop.
Sean told you to do that?
Yes,
What happened when you fought back?
I did that more earlier in the relationship. It would make him more violent, want to push me harder.
At this moment, the defense objected on ground of speculation, but was overruled.
How would Sean react if you fought back?
Anger.
I'm going to show you
Hold on, guys. I'm sorry about that. I hit the wrong button.
the LA Intercontinental hallway again. Play from 143 to 146. Who enters?
I'm kind of a deal hunter.
So they are introducing the video in the courtroom to the jury and to Cassie for her to verify things within the different frames of the video.
Sean.
What's in his hand?
He doesn't appear to have anything.
Play to 159. Now, anything in his hand?
My phone.
How did he get it?
Well, he took all of my stuff.
Where does he end up?
Sitting in a chair in front of the window.
What are you doing?
I'm walking away from him.
Now, who's in the video?
Me and security.
In this one, play from 531. Where did you go from the hotel?
I took an Uber.
Now, let's turn to text messages. Can you read page 4?
Please call I'm surrounded.
Who sent that?
From Sean. He was running around in a towel. I told him to put the robe on.
Who sent these green messages?
I did. I wrote to Sean. Jules left. As long as you're quiet, you can stay. Peace.
Who was Jules?
Escort.
Is this Jules?
Yes,
B606 and 607 side by side.
Holy cow,
that's me. A selfie of me with a fat lip.
When did you take it?
In the Uber. With one of my phones.
What did you write here?
I said, please stay away from me.
And what does he say?
He says, I'm getting arrested.
Was he?
I don't think so.
What did you write back?
Plugging my phone in and going to bed.
Who was at your home when you got there?
Carrie Morgan. She was upset when she saw me. She called the police.
Did you speak with them?
Yes, but I didn't say who I was talking about and they left.
Why?
I wasn't ready.
Did Sean try to come to your apartment?
Yes, he was banging. That was pretty normal from him. but this is a pretty private building.
Did you hear from Ms. Coram that day?
Yes, and I went to see D-Rock and his wife to try to feel safe.
In this photo, what are you wearing?
A gown and sunglasses. I had a black eye.
What if any other bruising was visible?
I had several bruises on my leg, but I changed clothes.
What's this?
Me and Sean at the after party.
I'm going to show you escorts. Do you know the name of this person?
No,
In what cities did you use him?
New York.
Who's this?
Islander. He was on Latin Men. We used him in LA and maybe Vegas.
Who's this? 2A616?
We called him Tommy.
Who is this?
I know him as Greg, an escort in Miami.
Who's this?
Jonathan. We saw him in Miami.
Who's this? Red baseball cap backwards.
I don't know. He looks familiar from the freak-offs.
What did you write here?
This is all we do. I'm just getting back on track. I'm sure you can call Kim or something.
What did you mean by this is all we do?
And what do you guys think she meant by I'm sure you can call Kim or something? Did he actually involved in freak offs with not just Cassie, but with the mother of his children? Because Cassie's message said, I'm sure you can call Kim or something. That would, for me, that would indicate that maybe Kim Porter, the mother of Diddy's children, well, I think she has 6 of his children. That would indicate to me that she may have been involved in this lifestyle at some point or another, or maybe she was involved ongoing. Who knows?
Freak-offs.
Did you try to avoid anything in the freak offs?
I tried to avoid kissing. It seems too intimate. But Sean told me to do it, to kiss the escorts.
What did Sean ask you to do on your 29th birthday?
A freak-off. He had me pulled out of the Blind Dragon for the freak-off. Some security.
What about blackmail material?
He wanted me to fear.
At this moment, the defense objected but was overruled.
When would Sean mention the freak off videos?
To hurt me. One time I was dating someone else and he threatened to release the freak-off videos. I'd have to answer to my mother. It's horrible and disgusting. No one should do that to anyone.
What did Sean say the impact would be?
Shame.
Let me show you a chat. Who's on it?
Me and Sean. July 22nd, 2013.
Read your message.
I wrote, please delete the videos off your phone. Too many people have access to your devices. He said, no iCloud, all good, Ambien kicking in.
At this point, the prosecution requested a sidebar, and the judge then called for a break to change some things in the courtroom. During the break, Combs was seen sitting at the defense table, speaking with his lawyer, Xavier Donaldson. After that, the prosecution stated there were issues with the privacy screens and said they would put that off and do something else now. Then they brought the jury and Cassie Ventura back into the courtroom and continued.
I offer more exhibits. What did you say here?
I'd been told there was a sexually explicit video out there about me. I reached out to Sean.
Then what?
We were driving back to NYC from Atlantic City to talk to this DJ, Who Kid,
Did that happen?
at a restaurant.
What was security's role?
To intimidate, they were lining the room.
Who was there?
Uncle Paulie.
How?
Okay, so I'm going to pause there because, again, here is another part of what can be considered as a conspiracy, the conspiracy portion of the RICO. His Diddy security standing in the restaurant, lining the walls of the restaurant, pretty much letting this individual know, like, hey, you can be harmed and hurt in the event that this, the video doesn't disappear or you don't give up the information that, we're requesting here.
Did you recover from a freak
And that would also possibly fall under the obstruction, depending on what was in that video.
off?
I take a. I wanted to feel numb. We'd get massages, IV fluids. The chef would cook us something.
How often did you take after freak-offs?
Off urinary tract infections.
Were the UTIs painful?
Very. Antibacterials didn't work anymore.
How did it feel during freak-offs?
Burning. I would not advise it.
Let's read this out.
I have all these sores on my tongue. I have another
Yours?
friction in my mouth.
From what?
Oral.
You said another UTI, then sad face emoji.
I was open with him about them.
So you feel sick.
Why are you sorry? I took the blame for things.
Which escort would go to
Jules.
the escort from Continental in LA?
Yes.
Did you want to have
No, but I knew him.
Why did you do it?
Sean.
Who was present when Sean put his hands on you at freak-offs?
Sometimes the escort was there too.
In the same room?
Yes, Jules.
And in the suite?
Yes.
Were they aware?
At this moment, the defense objected but was overruled.
Yes. The escorts would ask me if I was okay afterward.
In what city?
Dallas, Miami,
How frequently?
too frequently.
What's the Abbey?
A gay club in LA. I went there with my friend.
Where were you going?
To a music festival in Canada run by Drake. Sean came to my home and tried to attack me. I was thrown into the bed frame.
What's this?
A photo of my eye afterward.
Who took you to the doctor?
D-Rock.
Did you send this photo to Sean?
Yes. And I wrote, so you can remember. I wanted him to be sorry about it at least.
In this photo, where were you?
In the green room in Toronto. Then we went to the Hamptons. Sean wanted to have a freak off in the Hamptons. We got a hotel and an escort.
Which one?
Dave, I took GB. I went into a G hole and blacked out. I woke up nude in the shower. Dave and Sean were freaking out. I bugged out. It wasn't pretty.
Then what?
I spoke to a friend of Sean's, and then we had a freak off.
What's this?
My eyebrow healed up a little bit. A week later, I have a permanent scar on my eyebrow.
What's this?
Me at the Cannes Festival.
What happened at Cannes?
Sean accused me of taking from his boat. He threw me off, but my passport was still on the boat.
And you were on the red carpet that same night?
Yes,
Did you attend the movie?
yes.
How did you get back to New York?
On a commercial flight. I traded my seat to get away, but he traded to get next to me.
What did he show you?
Freak off videos. He played them for me on one of his laptops. He said he'd release them.
How did you feel?
Trapped.
When you landed in New York, what did you do?
We went to a dinner.
Okay, that portion of her testimony can actually allude to the coercion, the threat of under force, threat or coercion. Him showing her the FO videos and stating that he would release them, which would, cause shame and embarrassment to her as well as to her family. That is there. The prosecution is pretty much, like I said, laying out all of the counts in their indictment, utilizing Cassie's testimony.
He wanted to have a freak off, so we had a freak off
Why did you do it?
to make him not me.
Let's read these from June 13th, 2013. Had Sean been violent with you before this?
Yes,
Had you told him before you didn't want to do freak-offs?
yes,
You said you needed GB?
yes, and that 2 escorts weren't available. I wrote, only Paul available, or Jake the white guy, but he can't do until 11. The other guy can do earlier. It's just one more person knowing our secret,
What did you mean?
the freak offs.
What is SLS?
A hotel in Hollywood.
When would you take Valium before a freak-off?
When I had anxiety, Sean's driver was bringing me the Valium. It was Raheem, I think.
I have a binder for the court. The gallery will not be able to see these exhibits. Ms. Ventura, I will show you some exhibits. 2A404. Who is it?
She worked for Sean.
We will call her Mia. When you gave your devices to the government, were they working?
No, they were broken.
Put up 602A for Ms. Ventura and the jury only. What's on your skin?
Oil.
When did Sean first hurt you physically?
It started in the first year.
What staffer were present when Sean was physical with you?
At this moment, the defense objected on the grounds of physical is vague, then the prosecution was more direct.
Pumping, hitting. When did Sean first use violence on you?
In New York City. We were in a car with his security, and he knocked me around.
What did he do?
He hit me in the side of the head. I fell to the floor of his Escalade.
In January 2009, did you attend an event in LA with Sean?
Yes,
What happened as you left?
I'd been speaking to a producer about music. Sean called me a slut. I hit him in the face. I had been drinking.
Excuse me. Have you heard of this company?
So we have a commercial.
I was on the floor of the car, and he stomped on my face.
Hold on,
How
let
long
me
did this
go
last?
back a
Sean
little
called
bit.
me a slut. I hit him in the face. I had been drinking.
Did you see any injuries?
No, I was on the floor of the car, and he stomped on my face.
How long did this last?
10 minutes. Then I tried to get away, but Sean's security brought me back.
Who?
Roger Bonds,
What did they tell you?
to go to a hotel. They snuck me into the hotel covered up so no one could see my face.
How long were you at the London hotel?
A week, a little more. An assistant brought me ice cream.
What was the assistant's name?
Genevieve.
Did you feel you could leave the London hotel?
No, I understood his capability, his access to guns, the threats he made.
When you were taken to the hotel after the assault?
Trust me, we know that didn't make sense, but let's continue.
No,
Did you know that this assault incident was reported?
I know there was a blind item on the internet without our names.
Who raised the blind item to you?
My mother.
At this moment, the defense objected. It wasn't said what grounds, but the prosecution then said,
Not for the truth.
then the judge overruled the defense's objection.
This was before FaceTime was very popular, so I could hide myself. She asked if it was me.
What did you say?
No, I did not want my mother to know something of that magnitude and be in danger.
When you went to a party with your girlfriends, what happened?
I saw executives from BET. Then I heard that Sean was there.
What did you do?
I left. I ran out as fast as I could.
Why?
I thought he was angry.
Did he come to the hotel where you were staying?
Yes, he beat me up and called me names. My face was bruised.
This photo. Who is it?
Scott Mascuti, known as Kid Cudi. We dated in 2011.
Did Sean find out?
Yes, in my phone. Sean went through my phone during a freakout. He found an email.
About what?
Taking my toiletry bag to Scott's the next day. Sean put a wine opener in his hand and threatened me. I called Scott on a burner phone.
Where did you go?
To Scott's house. Then I talked with Capricorn Clark, one of Sean's assistants.
Then what?
I went to the house Sean was staying at. He told me he would release videos and hurt Scott and I.
What videos?
Freak off videos of me. Sean kicked me in the back. I got a bruise.
Where'd you go?
To my hotel with the burner phone. The room was torn up. Someone peed all over the floor, pooped in the toilet, and didn't flush it. It was gross. This was just before Christmas. I sent an email to my mom in Capricorn from my flight to Boston and Connecticut.
What did you write?
That Sean said he would release the tape of me on Christmas and he'd had Scott and I hurt. He said he would be out of the country then.
What are these photographs?
My mother took them in Connecticut of the
Now, that particular part of the testimony as well as evidence shows and outlines the charged arson, the arson charge that's in the indictment. The fact that he said, because judges usually admonish the jury, they usually admonish the jury and let the jury know that, you know, if someone walks into the courtroom with an umbrella that's wet, automatically the jury can make the assumption that it's raining outside. Somebody walks into the courtroom with a wet umbrella, it would be a safe assumption for them to believe and assert that it's definitely raining, right? So with the text message coming through from Diddy to Cassie stating that he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car while he was out of the country, lends itself, and actually that event actually happened, that lends itself for the jury to make a safe assumption that he had something to do with the car being blown up.
Bruises on my back.
Were you entirely honest with your mother about the abuse?
No, I said this was the first time.
Did you tell her about the freak-offs?
No. Is it possible to take a break?
At this moment, Cassie asked to take a break. The reason is unclear, perhaps because of her pregnancy. Or maybe the questions were making her uncomfortable that she needed a break. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down
I think
below.
it was a little
Let's
bit of
continue.
both.
Once they came back, the judge asked the prosecution, how much longer were they planning to question Cassie? The prosecution said 1 more hour, and that their goal was to finish the direct and allow the start of cross-examination today. Then they continued.
Did anyone come to see you in Connecticut?
Scott did for a few days. I broke it off with him. It was too dangerous.
At this moment, the defense objected, and the judge overruled it.
Sean said he would hurt both of us.
Where did you go after Connecticut?
I went to see Sean. He was in Arizona. His son, college. I told my mother I was going to LA for work.
Did Sean talk about Scott's car?
Sean said he wanted Scott's friends to see Scott's car blown up.
What happened next?
We met, Sean, Scott, and me. Scott said, "What about my vehicle?" And Sean said, "What vehicle?" And that was the end of the meeting.
Put up the photo. What is this?
Me and Sean in Kingston, Jamaica for Sound Clash.
Were you bruised?
Yes,
And this photo, what is it?
me in Sean's bathroom, September 18th, 2015.
What were you doing there?
Recuperating from being beaten up by Sean in Las Vegas. We were having an after party in our suite. I talked to a producer, and Sean tapped me on the shoulder, called me into our room and kicked me as I tried to hide behind the toilet.
What stopped it?
D-Rock and James Cruz came in. It made D-Rock sad.
What are these communications?
From D-Rock to me. He says, "Where you at? It's time to ice your face."
Why?
I had just been beaten up by Sean.
Were these all the times he beat you?
No, there were more.
With who else did you see Sean be violent?
I saw him drag an assistant out of bed. I saw him punch Eli or Ely in his head. One time in Turks and Caicos, he dragged a person. I believe we had a freak off in Turks and Caicos.
What floor did you live on in 875 Comstock?
17th floor.
Did a friend stay with you?
Yes, Sean came and held her and threw her on the patio furniture out on the balcony. I saw Sean bring her back in from over the balcony, then throw her on the patio furniture.
And Carrie Morgan?
I saw Sean hit her in the head.
Did you get drugs on your own?
Occasional drug dealers, opiates, Xanax, Valium. Sean would put the pills in a vitamin C bottle on the sink in the New York apartment. He'd say, "You can take them." He had doctors who would write the scripts in the name of an assistant or in my name.
Your brother's birthday party in Connecticut in 2013. What happened?
My mother told me someone was taking pictures of me. I went and punched her in the head.
You testified your relationship with Sean ended in 2018. How was your health?
I was sleepwalking. I had PTSD.
At this moment, the defense objected, but the judge overruled it.
What's this?
A photo of my front door in 2018.
Publish it to the jury. Why is there a knife there?
Sean was coming around a lot, so I had it.
August 2018. What happened?
We were having a closure conversation at a restaurant in Malibu. He was trying to convince me to go to Burning Man.
Were you seeing anyone?
My now husband.
What happened next?
Sean came to my house and raped me on my living room floor. His eyes were black. It was like taking something from you.
You cried. What did Sean do?
He continued and f***ed inside of me. Then he got up and left.
Did you ever have sex with him again?
Yes, voluntarily. We had a good night. I went back to his house.
Can you explain why you did that after he raped you?
We had been together 10 years.
Who did you stay in touch with?
Most people, though, I pulled away.
What did you message Sean about after that?
Just checking in.
What did he send you?
That he had iPads full of images. Get him his money.
Money back for what?
For having paid my now husband to be my trainer.
What did you write back?
Do you want me to tell the truth? It's much deeper than iPads. There was abuse, more than freak-offs. There was a time I couldn't take the pain, tried to walk out in traffic. My husband wouldn't let me. I had trauma therapy,
Did you write?
a book with chapters. My mom helped.
What did you want with the book?
That Sean read it.
What pain did Sean put you through?
Shame. To carry the things that were shameful for him. I took on a lot of responsibility for that I never should have. He brought the concept to me when I was 22. It was expected of me. I felt terrible.
How did you get chapters to Sean?
Through my attorney, and I reached out to KK. I asked her if he read it. She said it was not taken seriously.
How much did you ask for the book?
$30 million.
Did you sue?
November 2023.
What happened with the lawsuit?
It settled for $20 million in 24 hours.
Why are you testifying in this trial?
I can't carry this anymore. What's wrong is wrong. I treated people like they were disposable. Escorts, anybody.
How many freak-offs did you have with Sean?
Impossible to know. Hundreds.
After you broke up with Sean, did you ever do a freak-off?
No.
No further questions.
Ms. Ventura, you loved Mr. Combs, correct?
I did.
Now, this is cross. This is the defense's turn to question and hopefully turn the tide within the minds of the jury and paint a different picture or a picture that gives an appearance of Cassie being, voluntarily involved in all of this, the freak offs and the drug abuse, and also her part of the toxicity in their relationship. And I want y'all to listen very closely to the defense's approach and strategy, because I don't know. I just feel like, I honestly feel that they could be doing a better job. I'm not certain. Like I said earlier on, I think that the defense did not dig in or approach Cassie aggressively because she's pregnant. I think they held back because she's pregnant. I mean, she's really, really pregnant. Like, she's almost due. And I think they strategically did not want to press her too much in front of the jury because of that fact. The optics, how would that come across? How would that appear to the men and women on the jury? So let's listen, guys. If you're still in here, please give me a couple of thumbs up. Give me some thumbs up, guys. Give me some thumbs up. Thank you so much for being here with me today on this Saturday. It's a good amount of y'all in here. Be sure to hit the like button. Let's continue. We are listening to Cassie's testimony in its entirety. We've gone through the prosecution's direct examination, and now we're going over the defense's cross-examination.
11 years you took care of him.
In some ways,
You called him larger than life.
I did.
Others called him Diddy or Puff Daddy, but you called him Sean, right?
Yes.
You knew it couldn't see, right?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled.
In ways.
You kept coming back to him for 11 years?
I wouldn't say coming back.
You believed he loved you too.
I did believe he loved me too.
So when he cheated on you, it hurt.
Not every time.
At this moment, the defense said,
Bring up this defense exhibit.
but the prosecution objected and said it was not in evidence, and the judge agreed that it was not in evidence. Then they continued.
Ms. Ventura, read this just to yourself. Why did you send this message?
To let him know I was going to dinner.
What was going on when these messages were sent?
I'm not sure.
What was going on in your relationship then?
It was early. We were loving.
I offer it.
At this moment, the prosecution objected on the grounds of being offered the truth, but was overruled.
Please read.
I wrote, I love you, smiley face. I'll fly anywhere for you. I love you, Cass.
This 2009 email.
At this moment, the prosecution objected on the grounds of hearsay, and the judge told the defense to ask more questions.
From BlackBerry. What is BG?
Baby girl.
What did you write?
You hungry, Pop Pop?
And Mr. Combs wrote to you, we are so in love we don't do anything else. How long had you been seeing each other?
Like 2.5 years.
Please read this 1364.
I haven't talked to you at all. You don't even try. You rush me off the phone. I'm really hurt. I don't need your money. I need...
We've got a commercial, guys. Hold on, let me skip it.
Yes.
Hold
You
on.
testified that you
Let me go
Push me
back.
off the phone.
seeing each other.
Like 2.5 years.
Please read this 1364.
I haven't talked to you at all. You don't even try. You rush me off the phone. I'm really hurt. I don't need your money. I need some attention.
You wanted your special time with Mr. Combs?
Yes.
You testified that you told him, I love you so much, you make me a better woman.
I definitely wrote those messages.
You wrote, I can't wait until we have a baby of our own. You knew that he had 6 children at the time?
Yes.
Now, these messages about freak offs, when you say, you know it doesn't matter to me, you mean weekend or weekday, either is fine.
That's what it says.
Mr. Combs says, maybe we can call Jules. Can you do it?
Yes.
This was an explicit message from you about the upcoming freak off.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and it ended in a recess called by the judge. But once they returned, they continued.
Ms. Ventura, this is from Mr. Combs to you. You respond with an extremely explicit message, right?
Yes.
This is 2 days after planning a freak off, right?
Yes.
He said, I want to see, how did you reply?
I can't wait either.
You wrote, I feel like I want to right?
That's what it says.
Mr. Combs says, I'm so horny I can't concentrate. What do you say?
That I'll go to Dwayne Reed for candles and then set up the room.
Did you understand that he was going to take another video of you?
At this moment, the prosecution objected on grounds of speculation, and the judge told the defense to move on.
You ask, any pills on you?
Yes.
What pills were you taking then?
Opiates.
You deleted videos on your devices, right?
Yes.
What did you write?
That I need to feel this is my husband, the only one who will see this side of me.
Were you afraid that Mr. Combs was only seeing you for sex in this way?
That was a concern.
You still were not public in your relationship with him?
Correct.
Were freak-offs important?
Integral to us.
Who was at your 21st birthday party in Las Vegas?
Britney Spears, Dallas Austin.
How did you get them there?
They came for Sean.
You're very beautiful and charming.
Thank you.
It's true. Who is Tommy Mottola?
A well-known producer.
You were an up-and-coming star?
I guess you could say that.
After you signed with Bad Boy, things were still platonic.
Yes.
You had a rough performance.
106 in Park. It did not go well for me.
How did he help you after that?
We did a YouTube video. He said, everybody makes mistakes.
What was wrong?
I couldn't hear myself.
You were dating Mr. Leslie. How much older than you was he?
10 years.
Then you traveled to Miami with Mr. Combs. The flyer of the event was just a cover to spend time with Mr. Combs, right?
That's true.
You had a tattoo of Mr. Leslie's initials on your body, right?
Yes.
How many tattoos did you have then?
At this moment, the prosecution objected on the grounds of relevance. The judge overruled it and said, but let's keep it moving.
3.
The one on your arm?
No regrets.
Mr. Combs taught you how to do oral sex.
He did.
Look at this. Tell me when you're ready. Can you read it?
You can read it. It's making me laugh. It's from 2007.
You wrote, I feel protected. You are sweet. You wrote, I see that Carrie is better fitting for you. I'm hurt that you think I'm malicious. You're very important to me. Cass. What were you trying to convey?
It's like a journal entry.
You discuss Carrie Morgan. Did you think Mr. Combs was attracted to her?
There was a point in the very beginning.
Did that complication carry on in your relationship?
Not really. Carrie was just always with us.
I'd like to start asking about freak-offs. Sometimes you wore a wig and a mask.
Yes.
The general public did not know.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge told the defense to rephrase the question.
No one knew until November 2023 in the public.
Yes.
Fair to say his career was ruined after your lawsuit?
I can understand that.
Let's read these messages. Mr. Combs wrote, when are you on your period?
No, now.
What you be thinking about when you horny? Ms. Ventura, if you don't want to read the answers, I can read them.
Thank you.
The O has lots of oohs after it, right?
Yes.
After a freak off, you'd make love with Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Your period, Mr. Combs is asking when you're on it, right?
Yep.
He's asking in the context of when to meet up and have sex.
Looks like it.
Sometimes you watched him with a female?
2 or 3 times.
Did you talk with Mr. Combs about the swingers lifestyle?
That no one talks about it.
Were you keeping Freakoff's secret from your friends?
Yes,
His assistants help him?
with everything.
Would you remember if an assistant came in during one of your sessions with an escort?
Not necessarily. I was high.
So you don't remember much.
I had my privacy invaded a lot during that relationship.
This is from July 2012.
Now, the prosecution, not the prosecution, I'm sorry, the defense, I think they're not, that was a sloppy question. They opened the defense opened the door for her to basically restate that his team, his employees were heavily involved in their overall relationship, in setting up the freak offs, in being having knowledge and still actually assisting and aiding him in his activities, his sexual activities. So it's like that's where I'm like, I don't get his defenses. I don't get how they're like defending him. They're bringing up points that, in my opinion, give more validity to the prosecution, like, and their claims. That's just my thought. I don't know. What do you guys think?
You say to Mr. Combs, I'm horny and bored. This was after a freak off, right?
There are a lot of texts here.
At this moment, the prosecution said.
I would ask that the witness be allowed to read the entire document.
Then the judge asked how many pages. The defense said.
8.
Then the prosecution said.
We don't have a copy for the witness.
So the defense said.
We'll show it on the screen.
So it was shown, but not in the public gallery.
You said Mr. Combs often put you down, but he also sent you encouragement and called you a queen, right?
Yes.
At this moment, the judge asked for a sidebar, then continued.
What would trigger Mr. Combs' incessant calls to you?
Anger, doubt about where I was.
If he suspected you of cheating, he'd call you incessantly
That was one of the reasons.
because he thought,
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and it was sustained.
do you believe Mr. Combs has good taste?
I think he does.
He's had an impact on fashion.
People like his style. Sean John.
Did you consult with him on your look?
Sometimes I got advice I didn't ask for.
He still ran his companies even while having all these freak-offs, right?
He did.
What was he addicted to?
Success.
What substances? Opiates?
Yes, he told me, and I saw it.
Did Mr. Combs' mood depend on whether or not he was withdrawing from opiates?
He was more irritable, I would say.
What other drugs was Mr. Combs addicted to?
At this moment, the prosecution objected on the ground of no foundation, but the judge said, I'll ask if I want the grounds, then sustained and said to rephrase it.
What was his drug of choice?
Ecstasy or MDMA.
Opiates daily?
When he was doing them.
You saw him withdraw.
Yes.
Let's turn to GX411.
At this moment, the prosecution said,
It's not in evidence yet.
then they continued.
So B414, page 3 and 4. You wrote, I love our FOs when we both want it. You felt that?
Loving FOs were just words at that point.
Mr. Combs wrote to you, I want to freak out right now. And you wrote that you wanted it too. LOL, me too.
I texted more than that.
But you did text that to him. Mr. Combs wrote to you, Jules is available if you're into it. You could have said yes or no, and you said love you.
There was no yes or no.
Bring up B420 on page 2. Mr. Combs wrote, do I have your permission to set up freaky fun? You wrote, ovulation.
Yes.
Here, what do you say?
I asked, which hotel? I must have called him in between. I don't want to assume anything.
He said Montage. You said you could also go to Pleasure Chest. What would you get there?
Sexual supplies.
What supplies?
Lubricants, outfits.
He says, have fun, impress me. You say, okay. He says, well, can we kiss a lot? What do you say?
Yes.
You wrote,
Hardee's original bag. 2 full-size favorites, fries, and a drink.
Even prior to the freak off, he's giving her explicit instruction.
I don't want to assume.
Can we kiss a lot? He's letting her, he's basically setting the scene and setting the tone as far as what, in my opinion, he wants to see. Which is just, I don't know. I get having an alternative type of actual lifestyle or actual desires, but he's all types of crazy. This is all types of crazy and creepy, in my opinion.
Anything.
He said Montage. You said you could also go to Pleasure Chest. What would you get there?
Sexual supplies,
What supplies?
lubricants, outfits.
He says, have fun, impress me. You say, okay. He says, well, can we kiss a lot? What do you say?
Yes.
You wrote, I left the iPad.
I don't know whose iPad this meant.
Mr. Combs wrote, I'll be there right after my session. This was in June 2017. Do you remember arguments you were having at that time?
Not specifically.
Here you say, the game starts at 10 p.m. No breaking character till 8 a.m.
This was a game a friend of mine told me. A way to rekindle your romance.
By doing something different in the bedroom?
It's a whole getting into character thing.
Mr. Combs says, let's get some outfits and go to sex club. Mr. Combs wrote, surprise package coming from out of state. Why can't I reach you? What do you say?
I was getting my brows done.
Did you come to know Mr. Combs was leaving to freak off to go see Kim Porter?
Yes.
How did you find out about Gina? How did you feel? Did it upset you?
Yes,
It prompted arguments?
it did.
And he thought you were not faithful. What were his reactions?
It was scary.
Mr. Combs wrote to you, let's do something different in NYC this weekend. FYI, Dave hit me. What does hit mean?
Reached out.
And Daniel contacted you. Did this mean you might have a freak off?
Might?
He tells you, you better put me on VIP vibrate alarm or something. He's frustrated you don't answer his texts fast enough.
Right.
You tell him to come to NYC understanding there could be a freak off.
Maybe.
You also saw the Book of Mormon.
Yes,
Masked Pleasure. Is that a sect club?
I would assume.
He asks, are you ready for tonight? What do you say?
Yes, I just have to get some things. This is not about what I felt, right? Because you are skipping over a lot here.
What did you write?
As much as you think you're Bruce Willis, you're not. Your kids were babies when we started dating.
If you saw him on social media on vacation with others, it was heartbreaking?
It could be. I was 7 years in.
And what about this? About Gina? You wrote, I don't want to be a side piece, but I'll treat you as a king. You wanted to be the main girlfriend?
In 2013, yes.
You saw social media posts of Mr. Combs with other girlfriends and got angry, right?
Can I speak? I was jealous of certain situations.
Did there come a time he suspected you were in a relationship with someone in the industry, Mr. Muscudi?
Yes,
Mr. Combs thought it could be good for your career if you collaborated with Mr. Mr. Muscudi.
yes.
Why did you begin your relationship with Mr. Muscudi?
We enjoyed each other's company.
You were in a relationship with Mr. Combs,
We were on a break.
but you were still doing freak-offs with him.
Yes,
After Mr. Combs found out by going through your phone, you went to see him. You knew he was upset. He previously attacked you.
yes. I thought I'd be safer with other people there.
Your affair with Mr. Muscudi was only a month long, but you got a burner phone for it?
Right.
Mr. Combs kicked you in the back?
Yes.
This came up later in your relationship that you had cheated on him with Kid Cudi.
He brought it up quite a bit.
When he cheated, he said, well, you had an affair with Kid Cudi, right?
Sometimes.
He suspected you of having an affair with another person in the industry. You were in South Africa filming?
Yes. Honey 3.
While you were there, you saw a photo of Mr. Combs with Gina and were irate, right?
Angry.
You blocked him and focused on the movie, right?
I tried my best.
Mr. Combs suspected you of a relationship with whom?
Michael B. Jordan.
You sent a video not only to Mr. Combs, but also to staff. Who? D-Rock.
Yes.
You sent it to them because you were angry with all of them.
I was hurt. I spent all my time with them.
You thought they were in on it. The physical abuse. When did your father learn about it?
Same time as my mother.
Did Mr. Combs come to Connecticut to speak to your parents?
I don't know if it was then.
Carrie Morgan knew about the abuse.
Yes.
The eyebrow gash incident. What was it about?
Didn't answer the phone and went to sleep. I was supposed to be packing for a trip.
He was inebriated?
I don't remember that.
Why were you asleep?
A drink at the Abbey had something in it, I think.
Did Mr. Combs ever abuse you while he was inebriated, then say he didn't remember it?
Yes.
Did you feel he was not taking responsibility?
Yes.
For drugs, you'd both go to rehab?
Rehab wasn't really a thing during our relationship.
The freak-offs were an opportunity for you to take drugs together?
Yes,
You went a lot to Burning Man?
yes,
Did you ever call yourselves Get High Partners?
we did.
Did you take drugs from him without him knowing it?
Yes,
What was his reaction?
explosive.
Did he tell LA dealers not to deal to you?
Yes,
You told Ms. Coram that you learned only after the fact that Mr. Combs had dangled Ms. Bongolan off the balcony?
I'm not sure.
You were on drugs?
I'm not sure.
You got a life coach for your drug use, according to this document.
I don't know who that person is.
You were doing a lot of drugs?
It was a rough time.
You tried to get into a rehab, the Golden Door.
It was a spa. There was a time I lost all sense of smell and taste and woke up in a hospital with an IV in my arm. I tried then to get help.
The time after San Bernardino, you learned that he had overdosed.
A very strong opiate, yes.
Were you ever not addicted to painkillers?
We took Ibogaine.
Where did you get it?
Cancun, Mexico, separately.
When Mr. Combs threw you off the boat in Cannes, when he accused you of taking drugs and squeezed your leg,
Among other things,
but you still wanted to be with him?
I did.
Switching topics, when you say Mr. Combs went with guns to find Suge Knight, do you remember telling the
Suge
government that
Knight.
you did go with them?
No,
Let me show you.
At this moment, the prosecution said,
Just for the parties.
then they continued.
I did not go with them. So I don't think I said that.
You also did sex with Ms. Morgan, right?
Yes,
Do you recall telling the government that you did not see what he did, hitting her in the head with a wooden hanger?
I saw the hanger. I saw he was angry that I was doing drugs with Carrie.
This broke up your 17-year friendship with her?
It did.
Did you tell Mr. Combs about your relationship with your now husband?
No,
Ms. Morgan sued you and Mr. Combs,
made a demand.
and you paid part of that?
I did.
And you haven't spoken with her since?
Maybe one text.
That was the relationship ender?
Yes,
You would heat up the baby oil?
yes.
Now, is this from the day before the Intercontinental Hotel incident?
At this moment, the prosecution said,
This is a long document. We need time to read it.
so they took a break.
Is this from March 4th?
At this moment, the prosecution said,
With UCT time, it is March 3rd.
then continued.
Okay, Mr. Combs refers to accessories.
For the premiere.
You sent him an explicit message?
Yes,
He responded with with a number of M's. He wrote, "Too bad you have to work, LOL."
he did.
You ask him, "Are you feeling better?" Then he's discussing bodily function.
Yes. Could we just clarify what time these messages are really from with the UCT?
At this moment, the prosecution said,
There's a stipulation on that.
and this document was shown. You can pause to read it if you want. Then they continued.
Mr. Combs went to your premiere lunch at the London Hotel.
He did.
Then he says, "I just got out of a spiritual therapy session."
I asked, how did it go?
He said, "It's a process. This is leading up to the hotel incident." You say, "Baby, I want to FO so bad." You were asked in your direct and said you didn't want him to ruin your premiere.
Sure.
Mr. Combs says, "If we start at 7 p.m. and go until 4 a.m., you can get enough rest after."
Yes.
Jay McLaughlin, life is full of adventure. Epic, unforgettable travels. Vibrant escape.
He's saying it'd be a shorter than usual freak off?
That's how I would understand it.
What do you say?
Carrie is here. We can't do it at my house.
You say, "That guy is sick. I'm not going to ask you what you meant." So you were turning to Johnny. Was he a dancer or an escort?
We hired him as a dancer, but he did what an escort does.
Do you remember the beginning of this freak off in the Intercontinental?
Not really.
The drugs were bad MDMA, right?
I have no idea.
You believe Mr. Combs was blacked out for the Intercontinental event?
I believe he was intoxicated. Everyone's definition is different.
But you said blacked out. What did you write here?
I wrote, when you get fucked up the wrong way,
You meant drugs.
and alcohol.
Here, Mr. Combs writes to you, "I am so horny for you."
At this moment, the prosecution objected and said this was not an evidence. Then they continued.
Here, Mr. Combs is asking you for sex soon after the Intercontinental, right?
I was saying how he felt.
What did you write back?
I wrote, we need a different vibe than Friday at the Intercontinental.
Mr. Combs wrote, "Fuck Friday, I don't even want to do that again." What did you write?
I wrote, LOL, true.
Mr. Combs suspected you of having an affair with someone else in the industry. What happened?
when he took.
I don't understand how the defense is going back and forth between they had an open relationship, but then questioning her along the lines of Mr. Combs suspected you of having an affair. Was this like a consensual sexual relationship, or were they in a committed relationship? Because you cannot cheat on someone that you're not in a committed relationship with. It's kind of like pick a struggle. It's either they had an understanding and it was open and they could both do as they please, or there was some implication that Diddy could do what he wanted to do, but Cassie needed to be faithful to Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying his defense, I don't like the way that they're carrying it. They're not sticking to one thing. And what at one breath, his attorney asks, "So you wanted to be in a monogamous relationship with Mr. You wanted to be in a serious relationship with Mr. Combs. You wanted to be his only girl." And Cassie said, "Yes, by 2013 I did." So if it was already understood, why is the defense then saying he suspected you of cheating? How is that possible? You see what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know.
Phone.
We were in a car, and he told me to call my mother. When I did, he grabbed my phone and took it.
It was a big fight.
He was just gone.
For how long?
A few hours until my mother called the police.
Did Mr. Combs go through your phone?
I think so. And he called someone on it.
The person you had an affair with?
I don't know if he's playing anymore.
But he was an NFL player, and he was jealous. Wasn't there a time he found out you were dancing with another person in the entertainment industry and took your phone, right?
I don't remember.
It was Chris Brown.
I was not dancing with him.
Look at this. It's from 2013.
Now I see.
What else did Mr. Combs take?
My car, my passport, when he was angry.
Let's refresh you about Mr. Combs being in rehab.
I vaguely remember.
Why did you go to Sedona?
I went to Arizona to get away from the drugs.
I'm going to go to a new topic. Mr. Combs told you to go get the video you'd heard about. What did you write?
I wrote, "You keep putting me down."
I'm going to play you some audio.
At this moment, the defense played an audio. This voiceover is what was said in the audio.
If you saw a video of someone f***ing me, who was f***ing me? You have it. Why didn't you show me? Because I'm not disrespectful, bro. If you don't show me, I will kill you. Cut you up. I will f***ing kill you. I've never killed anyone in my life. I am going to f*** you up. It's not going to be blood on my hands. Someone else is going to do it. I'm not playing with you, Sujit. Tell me.
That was you, right?
Yes?
Did Mr. Combs express concern about these videos being released?
When?
Ever.
Yes?
The escort, Jonathan. You thought he took a video?
Yes?
Mr. Combs spent a lot of money to make sure the video did not get released?
I don't know.
You had a conversation with Jonathan Audie that was transcribed?
I'm not sure.
He was volatile?
I didn't trust him.
What did Mr. Combs say when you told him you thought Mr. Audie was recording?
He said he'd take care of it.
Are you aware of an escort leaving comments on Mr. Combs' Instagram page?
I am not.
Now let's talk about rehab. Do you still take Suboxone?
Something like it.
What does it treat?
Opioid addiction.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled by the judge.
You wrote a book in rehab. The place treats sexual compulsion.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge asked for a sidebar.
Did you get neurofeedback therapy?
Yes.
What is it?
They hook something up to your head and show you things. See how you react.
Were you told the effects of it?
Help me with my trauma.
Did you participate in EMDR?
Yes.
What does it do?
Memories and processing them.
The idea is you recall prior traumatic memories, like for PTSD. You were being treated for PTSD.
Yes. I was still physically developing.
You were 22.
Women keep developing after 22, don't you think?
But you're not suggesting you were still physically developing after 22.
I am not.
This message is about having a freak off without ketamine, right?
At this moment, the prosecution said,
May I confer with counsel?
the judge said, no, but we will take a break. Then they came back and continued.
Mr. Combs wrote, "You're so predictable. You've said you were going to tell him you didn't want to do freakouts anymore, but you didn't say it, did you?"
I did not.
Here, you were suggesting freaking off with a girl. You say you found a photo of Mr. Combs with Gina while you were staying with your parents in Connecticut, right?
Yes.
You decided to break up with him, and he didn't threaten you but suggested couples counseling?
I don't know.
In August 2018, you called it a closure conversation. Mr. Combs was inviting you to Burning Man, right?
Yes.
I'll read Mr. Combs. You have anger.
I wrote, my family knows I am not running around telling our business. I wrote, I don't need you to be taking care of Kim and Gina. I needed you to put me first.
Please read these.
I wrote, you lied to me. She never went away. It was the nail in the coffin.
You meant Gina, the photo?
Yes.
In your civil lawsuit, you say Mr. Combs raped you in September 2018 after you had dinner at an Italian restaurant in Malibu, right?
Yes.
Did you meet with the U.S. on November 30th, 2023?
Yes, not the exact date.
In this meeting, you said the rape took place after Mr. Combs returned from Burning Man. You said he was acting strangely at that dinner.
I don't remember exactly that word.
Did you meet the U.S. on April 8th, 2025?
Around then,
This message to FB. Who's that?
Frank Black, a name he used.
He wrote, I'm in an investors conference. We'll get back to this. You still have love for him?
I have love for the past and what it was.
After this, they took a sidebar, but then continued.
You wrote, I didn't mean to be a bitch. I just don't get the time. He writes, just need you to be positive, correct?
Yes.
DX1309. This is about a yoga instructor?
Yep.
What did you write?
I wrote, I've stopped even caring.
But you did care.
Yeah.
So he said, you could date other people. Let's just talk about it, correct?
Yes.
What did you write?
I wrote, I do love you. I would just prefer not being one of your girlfriends. Let's get up tomorrow night. I'll do studio from 6 to 9.
He writes, can I hold you? Or are you just going to break up with me? And you write back, we can embrace LOL. And you wanted to hug him, right?
That's what I said.
Did you have sexual intercourse with Mr. Combs that night?
I did.
And during that, your now husband FaceTimed you.
Yes.
Your now husband didn't know you were with Mr. Combs at the time?
I don't know what he knew.
Later, he discovered it?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled.
You didn't tell your husband you were raped.
Not that evening.
After Ms. Porter's memorial service, you wrote to him that you were going home. Why had he called Kim his soulmate? What was the 11 years all about?
Yes.
That was hurtful.
At that time, yes.
And after that memorial service, you never saw Mr. Combs again, right?
I did not.
He let you go, right?
I never saw him again. I don't know about letting me go.
You got married to the love of your life, right?
At this moment, the judge interrupted and said to take a break.
Ms. Ventura, we're almost done here.
Thank you.
I will read Mr. Combs' messages. You're going to make a beautiful mother. God bless.
I said, thank you, God bless. I wrote, we should talk and have closure.
Mr. Combs sent back a tear face emoji. He said, you were always my ride or die.
I thought it was nice.
You'd been craving that.
Before. I don't think I was craving now.
You shaped you over 11 years. You shaped each other.
Yes.
Your husband's a physical trainer.
Yes.
The house you grew up in Connecticut was relatively modest compared to mansions.
Yes.
You were preparing to tour with a Matt Testa.
Yes, he's an engineer.
Once you settled your lawsuit, you canceled the tour, right?
Yes.
Because you no longer needed the money?
That wasn't the reason.
After the hotel video came out, you posted on Instagram that domestic violence is the issue, right?
Yes, I still feel that way.
DX1015. Mr. Combs wrote, want to freak off one last time. What did you write?
I don't want it to be the last time. I want freak off for the first time.
No further questions.
At this moment, the judge asked the prosecution if they wanted to redirect, and it begun.
Ms. Ventura, you were shown this message where you ended. I don't want to freak off for the last time. I want it to be the first time for the rest of our lives. What did you say after that?
Yes, I'm horny.
Hold on, guys. We're on Friday,
I like to do things myself.
so we're
Just
coming
got
to
over
an
an
end.
UTI.
We're coming to the end of Cassie's full testimony over the past 4 days.
I want freak off for the first time.
No further questions.
At this moment, the judge asked the prosecution if they wanted to redirect, and it begun.
Ms. Ventura, you were shown this message where you ended. I don't want to freak off for the last time. I want it to be the first time for the rest of our lives. What did you say after that?
Yes, I'm horny. Just got over a UTI.
You were shown messages today in which you and Sean were kind and loving?
Yes.
Did those periods ever last?
At this moment, the defense objected but was overruled.
No, they didn't last. There'd be a downswing.
What world did Sean open up to you?
A world of chaos.
In your 11-year relationship, who did you want to have sex with?
Only him at that time.
When Sean wrote, "Seduce me all day," what did you do?
Write about FOs.
Were you able to cancel work obligations for freak-offs?
Yes, if I was told to.
When you were shooting the movie in South Africa and you blocked him, how did he contact you?
Through Mia.
He said he didn't remember hitting you. Did you believe him?
Not always, because I knew him. There were times he was pretty aware of what he was doing. It's just who he was. I'd seen him be with other people.
On the way back from Cannes, what did Sean do?
He played a video of me having sex with an escort.
What did he say he'd do?
He'd release it.
When you got to NY, what did Sean ask for?
A freak off, or he'd release it.
When Sean wrote, "You ready for tonight?" what did he mean?
Freak off.
What were you afraid he would do if you did not do that freak off?
At this moment, the defense objected, but the judge overruled it. Then after Cassie said,
I don't know that week.
the judge interrupted and said, "Next question."
Do you have any doubt that Sean raped you?
At this moment, the defense objected but was overruled.
I have no doubt.
After Sean raped you on August 18th, did you later have consensual sex with Sean during which your now husband FaceTimed you?
Yes.
Why did you cancel the tour?
After I filed my civil suit, I was overwhelmed. Addressing the past the way that I chose to was overwhelming. I didn't want to go.
Do you plan to file more lawsuits?
No.
Would you give the $20 million back if you hadn't have had to do freak-offs?
At this moment, the defense objected but was overruled.
I would give it back to get my agency back.
Did he beat you during freak-offs?
Yes.
Were you open to freak-offs at the beginning?
At the beginning.
Did you tell him when you no longer wanted to do them?
Yes. More than once.
What concerns did you have about saying no to freak-offs?
Safety, career, love.
No further questions.
At this moment, the judge asked if there was a recross, and they continued,
You knew Mr. Combs's preference was these freak-offs, right?
I learned.
It was part of being his girlfriend?
Yeah.
You kept your old device?
Yes.
And freak-off videos in this case. They were all on those devices you kept from 2012 and 2014.
I don't know what year.
You were able to stand at his side at the Met Gala. Being his girlfriend gave you access to producers.
Yes.
Beyond Kid Cudi, what other musicians were you put in the studio with? Were you put in the studio with Nicki Minaj?
Yes.
You were put in the studio with Lil Wayne.
Yes.
And with Rick Ross and Pusha T. Am I forgetting any names?
You've got a lot of names.
You are self-conscious about your musical talent.
I wouldn't say that.
You had a bad performance on 106 and Park.
Early in my career.
You did music videos. Were they successful?
At this moment, the judge asked for a brief sidebar. Then they continued.
D-Rock was like a member of your family?
Yes. Like a brother.
The assistant Mia, you also had a friendship with?
Yes.
Okay, here you begin with an explicit message, and he responds with one, you stated that you were feeling overwhelmed after filing your civil lawsuit, right?
Yes.
You recently received a settlement from the Intercontinental?
No.
You made a demand?
Yes. $10 million, maybe.
At this moment, the judge asked anything further, and the prosecution said,
I just have one question.
but the judge said, I was asking Ms. Esteval, can you wrap up in 2 minutes? And they continued.
This is the last thing I'll ask you to read, Ms. Ventura.
Thank you. We need closure and understanding.
Why'd you keep your devices?
I was afraid of what was on them. I wouldn't take them to the Apple Store.
One question. You just reached a $10 million settlement with Intercontinental last week before trial?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled, and Cassie answered.
Yes.
That was the end of Cassie Ventura's testimony. After hearing the entire testimony together, instead of in parts, day by day, what do you think now? Did anything change in your opinion after hearing the entire testimony in one?
What are your thoughts, guys? Let me know. Drop some comments. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? I just feel like I feel that his defense could have done a much better job combating a lot of what the government presented. Unless their strategy is to probably not touch on a lot of the hot button items, Maybe they feel that if they ignore those hot button issues, they'll become irrelevant. I don't know. But I don't think that's a good strategy. Hey, Lisa says what? Welcome, welcome. 8 hours as a compromise for duration of a FO tells us a story on it. Right. And before her work. Exactly. Yeah, it does. And I don't think that his defense is doing him much justice. I just feel like they needed to actually head on, in my opinion. If I were Diddy, I would want my defense team to be addressing some of these issues head on. Unless, like I said, their perspective on it is, let's just ignore the flying monkey in the room, pretend that it's not there, and hopefully the jury will also believe that that just wasn't said. But ultimately, the jury will have access to all exhibits. Who is this? Who is this in this video? Hold on, guys. Yeah, the jury will have access to all exhibits, and I don't know. I think that the defense team is taking a huge risk by not confronting some of these allegations head on, but that's just my humblest of opinion by listening to her full testimony from the beginning of the week. And yes, taking her passport as well as her car. And yes, controlling her entire career is definitely more than just a toxic relationship. Much more. So that's the issue that I'm taking with his team. You know, Diddy is paying a lot of money for his defense. He's hired some of the most reputable, high-powered attorneys in the land, with the exception of Jose Baez. But I don't know. And now I know that it's the prosecution's time up to bat. They're presenting their witnesses, but I'm expecting the defense to come in with their fireworks on cross-examination. And so far, I'm just not seeing it. So excited to see their performance beginning on Monday. Now, on Monday, I will be doing my recap and review of everything late evening, probably after 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I might even do it at 6. I'm not sure yet. But guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing today. Be sure to set your notifications to all so that you're notified when I go live or add new content. I am also compiling a show update on Bryan Kohberger that you're not going to want to miss. There's a lot of new evidence coming to light in the quadruple unalivings of those the students in Idaho, the Idaho 4. And it's getting rather interesting as we approach that trial's start date. So subscribe, drop me a couple of comments, share, and let's congregate in the comments, guys. I'm going to hop off here. Nobody has hit the link. So I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. You guys be sure to have a wonderful rest of your day. Crystal, BB, Lisa, Libby Lou. Let's see who else is in here. Bush Babies, I see you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Who else? Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. In my notes, I looked up the type of therapy treatment that the defense brought up, the EMDR. It stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a type of psychotherapy designed to help people process and heal from traumatic or distressing like experiences. How it works: EMDR involves recalling a traumatic event while simultaneously experiencing bilateral stimulation, usually in the form of side-by-side eye movements, taps, or sounds. This process is thought to help the brain reprocess the memory in a way that reduces its emotional charge. What it's generally used for, it's most commonly used to treat post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, anxiety disorders, depression, panic attacks, phobias, grief and loss, complex trauma, or childhood abuse. The process, it's eight phases. 1, the history and treatment planning. 2, preparation, building trust and teaching coping strategies. 3, there's an assessment in identifying target memories, and then desensitization, processing de-stressing memory using bilateral stimulation. Then 5, installation, reinforcing positive beliefs. Then there's a body scan, checking for residual physical tension, closure, returning to a state of calm. And then the last step is evaluation, assessing the process in future sessions. Now, is it effective? Yes. EMDR is recognized by organizations such as the American Psychological Association, APA, and the World Health Organization, WHO, as an effective treatment for trauma. Research has shown that EMDR can be as effective as, or even more effective than, traditional talk therapy for trauma-related issues, often in fewer sessions. Okay? I wanted to kind of drop that little bit of information, that little nugget, to let you guys know that about that whole, let's see, hold on. One moment. One second. Let me do this. I'll do that in a second. But yes, because I had never heard about that type of therapy before. So I was like, wait a minute. If I have questions, other people may have questions as well. Hey, something foreign. So I wanted to share that with you. Something foreign, you're getting here late. Karen Reed. Oh yeah, I'm not following Karen Reed. She's getting she's getting a second Apple, which is good. I kind of dipped in, but I haven't really been paying close attention, something foreign, to her case. But guys, I'm going to get out of here. I will connect with you guys on Monday regarding the case of the United States versus Sean P. Diddy Combs. I'm planning on going live to unpack the updates in Brian Koberger's case tomorrow. Hopefully I could get through all of my notes and my research today. So that's what I'll be working on for the rest of the day so that I could be ready to present tomorrow. So stay tuned, guys, and be sure to subscribe if you're not already. Until next time, guys. Later. Let me see.